Hello everyone, and we are back on Adobe Photoshop 2021 tutorial. In this video I would like to cover masking, the basic use of it. Similar to selecting an object and copying and pasting it to superimpose it to another layer, but in this episode I would like to show what masking is and how to create layer mask. This is like one of the several ways to superimpose your image to another image. So as you can see here, we have two layers. One is the main photo, which is this one, and the other one is the background sample. Let me turn off the layer on main photo. So this is the background layer. So what we want to do is we want to superimpose this photo into this background. Just to let you know, in this tutorial, I'm not gonna perform a perfect blending between the object and the background. So that's not the purpose of this tutorial. I just want to go through the basic of what masking is and how you can implement that to your own projects. So first things first, what you want to do in the main photo is let's turn this thing off for now. Turn that off, right? And select the background layer, the background sample layer in here. What we want to do is you want to create a layer on top of that background layer. You see that? That's layer 1. And from here, you want to select paint bucket, or you can click click and hold, and then click on paint bucket tool. In this paint bucket tool, you want to choose color. Any kind of color will be fine. Blue, red, orange is up to you, as long as you can just differentiate the layer in comparison to the top layer that we're gonna do. So I'm gonna select blue for now, so click OK. And while layer 1 is selected, you fill this whole thing up, so it fills up the whole screen blue. And so let you know, this layer 1 over here is only a guide. We're not gonna use this to superimpose another image or anything like that, so it's only a guide, just so you can differentiate it and reduce the confusion. Let's go ahead and type in guide for that. That's only guide. Now next step is let's turn on the main photo layer. So now what we want to do is you basically want to get rid of this background over here. You only want her on the background sample over here. So what we want to do is, while main photo is selected, you click on this add layer mask. So this is where the masking starts. So click on that while this is selected. You'll notice there's a white layer in here. So it's like another layer, except it's going that way, like, you know, horizontally instead. Pretty much it's almost like there's two layers in here. One is the actual picture layer, and another layer that is on top of this picture layer. As you can see, the color is white. So anything that is white, it will show up on the top of the image. Now anything that is black in here, which I'll perform it to you later when we start coloring the whole thing, it'll show up what's underneath this layer. So maybe that blue, it will show up underneath the layer because we're coloring it black. Let me perform it really quick. I'm gonna invert this white to black. There you go. See, now you're seeing blue. Let's invert it back. Same thing. If you color, let's say I have this autofill in here, color it black, boop, it'll color this whole thing and everything shows as black. So now let's go ahead and invert that. So anything is like, you think about it as a two-color system, black and white. So while this thing is already white, what you want to do now is you want to color her image. So it's like a coloring book, like one of those like little kids thing when we all like to color book, right? So we all like to color shapes and, you know, and stuff. So, and that's what we're gonna do. First step is, actually not first step, probably more steps than that, but let's click on the paintbrush tool. While clicking on the paintbrush tool, make sure the opacity is 100%. The flow is 100%. and hardness probably 50%. You know, you want a little bit of feathering goes on. If you go to if you put in hardness at 100%, you'll see a lot of edges. It doesn't look pretty. You could probably do 50% edge, right? I mean, you can put it at 0 if you want, but it's too feathery, you know. The size is, you can adjust it however you like. There's a shortcut key for that, which is the 2 brackets in your keyboard. So the left bracket and the right bracket. So you don't have to always go in this icon and, oh, I gotta change this and, you know, adjust that, you know, for the size. Oh, I gotta go bigger, you know. But make use of that shortcut. Anyways, so now that we have our paintbrush, and make sure the color is selected as black. So because we're gonna color this white area to black. All right. Now you'll see this is me using the bracket keyboard, the bracket hotkeys, shortcut keys. I zoom into a photo, and what you want to do is you want to paint the edges. So there you go. See? So whatever black I'm painting, you're actually masking them out. Yeah, you basically want to paint this the outlines black first. So anything that's black erases the image. I mean, doesn't actually erase it, but it's masking it out for you. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and speed up this video so we can push through the tutorial. Alright, so now since we already colored up the outline, this part where you kind of color it like a coloring book, like you were a little kid, right? Let's go zoom in a little bit and just color this whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video again so we can go through the tutorial. Alright, so now we finished coloring up the object, and that seems pretty easy, right? It's like, you know, kindergarten level stuff. You'll notice in here, on this layer, mask layer over here, you'll see like a shape has taken place, which is the silhouette of the object. Now what's gonna happen is if I turn this guide off, you'll see that it's like masked out. What we need to do now is we need to invert that, because this background is the one that we want to get rid of, not the actual model or the object that we're painting on. While this thing is selected here in the main photo, the mask layer 1, we click on invert. Boop. And there you go. So, you know, she's all masked out from the original image. Doesn't mean that the layer is deleted, so we just practically just masked her out from her natural environment. Let's just say that in another way. Probably clean up some of these areas here. So while you have this selected, obviously anything that is outside that you color, as long as it's black, like as you see in here, we can remove that. Let's resume that, do a little bit of cleanup. So you can do it this way, just color that part out. There you go, it's kind of cleaning things up. Now if you think like you overextended your coloring in here, for example, whoops, I made a mistake. You just switch this thing up to white and then color this thing back. So the image is actually, you know, still intact. You're not messing everything up, you're not messing anything up, you're not deleting anything. It's still there. You just practically just have to clean them up, you know, the edges. And whoops, and there you have it. Pretty much that's how you mask up an object. And you can do so many more things masking an object, and also just to have you know that you can also resize this layer. So make sure this layer is selected, right? You click on this main photo. You can transform and scale this image, you know, superimpose it with another image or whatever, and you can do your blending technique, add shadow, stuff like that. I'll save that for another tutorial. And then let's say you want to be that big, right? There you go. So now she's superimposed into the background sample. And this guy, you can delete that now. That was only a guide. And probably in the next tutorial, I'm gonna do object selection. You guys can stay tuned for that tutorial. But in the meantime, this is the way to work with mask. Okay, so now if you wanna apply this mask permanently, and you're confident that you're not gonna make any more changes, you right click on this layer mask, the layer mask, not this layer mask. Right click this layer mask, and then you apply the layer mask, and there you go. Now it's an actual one whole image. So if I turn off the background layer, you'll see it's an actual final image. And obviously you won't be able to make any changes unless you do undo. So you can undo it if you want, apply a layer mask, so in order for you to get back to it. So yeah guys, so that is it. And if you guys find this video very useful, you can apply it to your projects or whatever project you guys plan to do, and do some more videos like I said. And if you guys could subscribe and hit that like button, and see you guys on the next one. Later.